But basically, we've been going back and forth, just trying to get all the information that's HMIS, which it's the system that the county and the feds use to collect data about the child, the family. It asks questions whether they're pregnant, have been part of the foster care system, or in probation. This is the way they collect the data, and honestly, the way we're all funded. So we've been going back and forth, me and Tom. We just decided to go with the intake form from the Contra Costa County for HMIS. And they do have the RHY federal requirements.
That's the runaway and homeless youth. We have two databases, the local homeless management information system database and the federal runaway and homeless youth database. We are required to complete the homeless management information HMIS database every month. We are required to upload that system into the federal HMIS every 6 months. So that's the way the flow of that data occurs. Now, in addition to that, what has happened when the feds came and did their review of our program, they want us to have a record keeping system, particularly on this intake form, likely a revised version of the telephone intake screening form, where we can upload and record the information by typing it in rather than looking at my handwriting, because nobody can read my handwriting. So our intention is to modify these forms and these systems so that it would be feasible for you to be sitting at home and on your computer and dial into extended reach and get access to the intake form for runaways and fill it out in your underwear, okay? So that nobody would have to suffer through trying to figure out what I'm writing, because nobody can read my handwriting, even I can't. And we would have a system where we could then download those case notes or those intake forms from extended reach. And that would be the preliminary for our entering and moving that data into the monthly HMIS database. So those are the changes that we anticipate. So we have a bunch of changes and adjustments within our system, which are partly there. We already do have, the capacity to record incoming runaway cases on extended reach right now. But we're not sure that the revision and the forms that we have are going to be compatible, and it'll take a while to get that accomplished. So those are kind of the background issues with regard to this. But I'm hopeful that in the not too distant future, if you have a tablet or you have a computer, you would be able to handle intake from your own home rather than from here. And whoever is handling the responsibility of intake on whatever day would be able to do it remotely. It's not there yet. We're still clunking along using the forms we have. But those questions that we covered today will be in those new forms.
Sorry, is it my turn to talk again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Carter, can you wait? Thank you. Okay, so actually the feds are changing that to 5 times, not 2 times a year. That's one. And I did want to piggyback and answer Rex's question too. In regards to DocuSign, you wouldn't use it, but if they don't have an email, it would be so much easier if transportation gets those 2 form signs from the child and the adult. Let me see what else I have to say. The HMIS forms mostly related to, I guess, the intake staff, which would be Ashley and Betsy, and we've discussed this. I'm not sure, Tom, what else you want me to mention?
Yeah, there is one thing. In the past and in the future, we have had a 3-ring binder, which was specifically for people doing transport. And in that binder, we would ask them to keep the list of everybody on staff, the telephone list of staff. We would ask them to keep 2 or 3 copies of the parental consent form and 2 or 3 copies of the house rules, so that when and if they pick up a kid at wherever And we haven't been able to complete the DocuSign by using the dockets and them by doing it DocuSign. You just hand them the form, read them the rules and ask them to sign it. Now, when you do that, you can be pretty well assured that the person who's done the intake should have already read them the rules. And that's, the intake people have that responsibility. Transport people may have the responsibility of just getting them to sign the forms. But if they haven't done it, then you might have to read them the rules, but in most cases it should have been already done. So the two key and most important documents that a transport worker is going to have is the parental consent form and the home rules. And then whatever else we would put into that binder and have you keep in your car with you at all times. Yeah, you had a question, Rex? Okay.
And I do want to thank Rex and